the DOJ bust brothel network used by politicians and military. Let's see some of that announcement right now.
They are doctors, they are lawyers, they're accountants, they're elected officials, they are executives at high-tech companies and pharmaceutical companies. They're military officers, government contractors, professors, scientists. Pick a profession, they're probably represented in this case.
Pick a profession, said acting U.S. Attorney for Massachusetts, Joshua Levy. During the Wednesday press conference in Boston last week, they're probably represented in this case. Ain't that something? While Levy did not identify any of the brothel's client, he noted multiple search warrants are being executed in the case in Massachusetts, California, and of course, Virginia had to be in there. 3 individuals have been arrested on charges of operating a high-end brothel network with a clientele that includes, check this out, elected officials, military officers, and government contractors with the security clearance. Han Lee, 41 of Cambridge, Massachusetts, Jumyong Lee, 30 of Dedham, Massachusetts, and James Lee, 68 of Torrance, California, have been charged with conspiracy to coerce and entice to travel to engage in illegal sexual activity. Man, this can't be made up. The 3 individuals reportedly transported women and advertised them online for pre-approved clients to choose from other several websites while running the brothels out of their apartments that they rented. What in the red state hell is this? I'm confused. This is unbelievable. According to an affidavit filed in court from a special agent with the Homeland Security investigation, the prostitution network used 2 websites advertising appointments with Asian women. This is according to the U.S. Justice Department. This case goes back to the summer of 2022, with investigators identifying several buyers through surveillance phone records and interviews. Levy said, they are potentially hundreds of individuals who took these services as commercial sex buyers, Levy said, noting the investigation is still in the early stages. Alleged prospect sex buyers in this scheme first had to respond to a survey and provide information online, including their driver's license photo, their employer information, credit card information, and they often pay monthly fees to be a part of this. Listen, I gotta stop right here. They just said military officials, elected officials, and also government contractors with security clearance. All 3 professions where you shouldn't be providing your ID and your employer's information to join something like this. Jackson. Yeah. I don't know how dumb the brothel owners are, but I definitely know how dumb their clientele was. My God.
Definitely. Especially in modern times, there's so many other ways that you can solicit these kinds of things. And when you look at stuff like this, obviously the bigger issue is the sex trafficking and the potential of using women underage or women who don't really want to be doing this. And this is a good example for me, in my opinion, why prostitution should be legalized. Because, I mean, you're just going to keep catching people up with stuff like this in some form or fashion because we're sexual creatures. We just are. And being able to legally access these types of services would just keep it more clean. It would keep it more safe. But, it's not legal, though. So that's why, going about it like this is kind of like, oh, man, you kind of asked to be caught up. It was pretty reckless, and understandably, they're in trouble for it because it's not only a bad look, but it's wrong. It's shady. You really shouldn't go about it like this.
Yeah, it's wrong and shady. And guess what state or specifically what city was specifically left off? Las Vegas, Nevada. You want to know why? Because it's legal there, and they can't exploit people. So this nature that you're talking about, what is likely to be inherent in illegal sex trade is the exploitation of women most of the time. And I think that's what's at the heart of this case. The Homeland Security investigation agent said about 20 sex buyers were interviewed in connection with the multi-year investigation. One customer described getting a text of available options at a brothel. This is not a menu, y'all, including the women available, the sexual services, and the hourly rate. That's according to the U.S. Department of Justice. The agent said he believes the brothels are high end because of the high cost of the rental units used and the scope of the professional disciplines of the sex buyers. My God. Customers are not named in affidavit according to the agent because the investigation into their involvement is active and ongoing, and that's according to CNN. Now, notice they said the investigation is in the early stage, and also their activity is ongoing. Their investigation is ongoing. I think we're going to see some more names and some people that we may know. And I mean, we're talking about California, we're talking about Massachusetts and Virginia, and a lot of people think about Virginia because it's a far-reaching state. It's not as long as California, but the top part of Virginia might as well be DC. And people don't talk about that. So when you're talking about politicians, those that may be in DC for federal appointments or elected office may live in DC. So I will not be surprised if some of these people have U.S. representative or Senate. And I don't know that to be true, but I will not be surprised. We all remember the DC madam and who all the people were on her client list. And this started to seem a lot like that, Jackson.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think that's definitely a good point because I wasn't thinking about, that northern part of Virginia and how connected everybody who works for the federal government really would be, especially if it was an easy service to tap into, people travel and stuff like that. But I think we'll see a lot more of this, not necessarily like popping up every week or every month or anything like that, but it's a continuing issue, and sex trafficking is going to be an issue that we have to face. So I think it makes for an interesting policy discussion along many lines for sure.
Indeed. And while we're talking about this, we would be remiss if we didn't admit that part of this is about controlling women's body too, right? Like this misogyny that's baked into our political space and our electoral work. The idea that women don't deserve or get to choose what's legal for them and their bodies. So I think you're absolutely right about the need to legalize sex work for that very reason. Plus also the amount of safety mechanisms that is built into the legal sex work that we see in places like Las Vegas. So I definitely think you got a point right there, brother, and we should definitely keep on looking into that.